It's 42 minutes to your 7 o'clock meeting. Good morning, wherever you are. You know what time it is when you hear that beat. It's time for the headlines with our girl, T to the K. Good morning, TK.
Good morning, and here's to hoping you don't have a 7 o'clock meeting. That's pretty early.
No, man.
Here's to hoping that's not a thing you have this morning.
I think we chuckled for the same reason. We're just like, wait a minute.
Meetings?
Well, no, but we have 4:30 meetings.
Right?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
morning,
yeah.
everyone.
Good morning.
Great morning.
TK.
Let's jump into the headlines. New commissioner confirmed. The Deputy Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, will replace the outgoing Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson when his contract ends next Monday. So Dr. Blake climbed the ranks from Assistant Superintendent in 2002 to Deputy Superintendent in 2009 to Senior Superintendent in 2011. He then became an Assistant Commissioner in 2013 for 7 years and was promoted to Deputy Commissioner in 2020 for a total of 22 years in the force so far. So congratulations to Dr. Blake, who begins that journey next week.
Didn't know. Okay. I'm joking.
You got me so good.
Let me tell you something. Can I just tell you something? You know some jobs that you have no interest in. Let me tell you something. You couldn't pay me money to be a Deputy General Commissioner. Let me tell you, JCF, big up on yourself.
It's a lot of work.
You know why I agree with that?
That job, I can't.
It's very unforgiving.
It is.
I was just about to say it's
That's
thankless.
It's a thankless
It's so
job.
thankless, and it never ends.
Yeah.
It just.
Your phone rings at all hours of the
Here's the
day.
thing. So we were chit-chatting about this a bit the other day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you tackle every single crime that is within the control of the JCF, you still can never get rid of all crime, because you can't tackle domestic violence, but you can in terms of trying to get into the minds of people, but that's less of a policing and more of the
moral suasion.
Correct. So it's not one of those jobs I would run down, to be really honest
I'm
with you.
telling you, and then you know, when I say it never ends, is because the root of crime. You are now on the other end of the route, meaning there's so many things that cause crime. There's so many things that cause people to commit crimes, and you don't have a lot of control over the root causes.
There are so many variables that are outside of your control.
But yet it's your responsibility to kind of nip it at the end and solve it at the end. And
if there's a surge, it's your name that's called.
Right.
It's unreal.
I mean, one of the challenges, I think, is that we have violence and we have crime, and sometimes we confuse. Well, we always confuse.
What's the difference between violence and crime?
All right, so crime is usually perpetrated. There is motive, means, opportunity, that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Violence, what is the predictor of an act of violence? The predictor of an act of violence is a previous act of violence. Violence is psychological. Violence is, so like a lot of what we see is born out of a culture of violence. It's a whole long lecture. I wouldn't want to bore you with it, but think about it. So you're trying to fight crime. So you do things to tackle opportunity. You do things to tackle means. You do things to motive. You.
So under that would be the umbrella. Or that would be what would fall under that umbrella rather is gang crime. Scamming,
right. So, for instance, you have in the UK several crimes that are born out of, if you look at it, there's a correlation between time that bars are open and stuff like that, because it's associated with drug dealing.
Right.
So all they do is, okay, we're going to close this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then you just see it drop.
A reduction.
In Jamaica, it don't work like that. It's like, because, you have a man this year, a man step on your toe and you stab him, you have two women in an argument over a pot cover and one woman end up dead. You have a triple murder in St. James over a yam hill. You have a youth killing father.
Literally internal. It's family conflict.
You have a youth killing father because his father sell the buckle him with it in the yard.
That case was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And mind you, he was selling bottles while the youth was in lockup to go and bring him food. And now him come out of lockup, him sell the bottle him, and it cause an argument, kill him. So there are so many just ridiculous acts of violence, then not to mention argument over deadlift.
Yeah.
There was a case where a mother left she had 4 houses.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
She left each of her 4 children one house, and one son killed the other son, because I never liked the house what him get. Yeah. So
But on that note,
the job is a difficult one, but it is one that we remain committed to doing.
So basically, the role is to manage the affairs of the Federation. Is that what the role is?
The job is to outline a strategy going forward for an entire force, a force that is transforming and modernizing and trying to deliver better quality police servicing to a society and to make us safer at the end of the day.
And on that note, all the best, Dr. Blake.
Uphill battle.
Better you than me. All right, so the voters' void is our next headline with voter turnout in Jamaica steadily declining. Experts are calling for government action to re-energize the voting population. So Dr. Canute Thompson, senior lecturer on educational policy planning and leadership, suggests undertaking a more systemic engagement with people to better understand what their needs are, and he says it may require the formation of more political parties. Coupled with this, he would support state funding for the campaigns of the parties that meet an established minimum member count. Another expert, constitutional scholar Dr. Lloyd Barnett, adds that voter apathy continues to run rampant because people simply don't think it's in their best interest to participate. He believes the government contributes to this by persistently doing the bare minimum. Dr. Barnett says Jamaica's democracy is at risk if the people continue to withdraw their participation.
I agree with Dr. Barnett and I disagree with Dr. Barnett. So I think that people have withdrawn from the political process because they don't feel it serves them, but I look at it differently. So I think in Jamaica, we have politics and politicians have culturally gravitated towards the issues of the masses, the poor. And so politics has become the thing that poor people are interested in. And middle class and upper class people feel like they don't need the political process as much in order to survive and be successful. If you listen to the nature of the political conversation in Jamaica, the political conversation is targeted at me love the poor more. No, me love the poor more. No, you love the poor more. I've done more for the poor. No, you've done more for the poor. If you listen to American politics, it's all about the middle class and the middle class and the middle. Just listen to a debate about politics in America. It's all about the middle class because you never hear them pandering to the poor. They pander to, because politics is about demand and supply.
Right.
And so uptown people pull away from the political process and leave it to those people. Those people get what they want out of the political system because the political parties know we have to serve them first because they actually vote. You know? So if people, if the policies and programs of governments targeted the issues that middle and upper class people are interested in, and not saying at the expense of the poor, but you're lifting people from poverty and you're targeting, the average person in Jamaica should be middle and upper class, not the poor, the masses.
But the question is what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because if it's demand and supply, is it that the government should focus on the middle class and therefore the middle class will be engaged? Or is it that the middle class should take it up, should now be engaged so it forces the government to,
I would say the latter. If Sasha is passionate about environment and she make it clear, she goes to the political meetings or the constituency meetings and says, if you don't go to Parliament and advocate for the environment, I am not voting for you. And if everybody in my constituency is big on the environment, you will hear me in Parliament talking about the environment.
I agree with that.
And so the environment will not be taken seriously from a policy perspective until politicians know, hey, we can't go to the people unless we come back with this new environment legislation.
I agree with that.
So it is demand, and supply will meet new demand.
Well, there we go.
Interestingly, in the most recent local government election, there's a lot of discussion on social platforms about the lack of collection of garbage. And people were frustrated about the garbage, and people were saying the city stinks, the city is messy. One of the first things I heard the most recently sworn in mayor refer to was he's going to clean up the city. So I take your point. I agree. Yeah. I think If you make enough noise, they hear and they respond
Of
accordingly.
course they do.
Yeah.
Of course. All
All right. On the other side of the break, it's currency Q&A with our money masterclass guru, Carlton. Please stay with us here on Sunrise.